talagang fee na charge si financial institution or si acquiring bank doon sa mga merchants niya. I think it would all boil down if kung gaano mo kailangan yung bagay na yun. So if there would be safeguards and safety nets for consumers, that would be really nice.
A bill filed in the Senate seeks to prohibit stores and other establishments from charging credit card users more than the actual prices of goods and services. It also makes it unlawful for businesses to limit discounts to cash purchases only. The penalty, imprisonment of up to a year, a fine of up to 100,000 pesos, or both. The establishment's license to operate shall also be suspended for 6 months or even canceled. For credit card user Karen, this bill, if passed into law, would be a big help for breadwinners like her. Just recently, she had to use her savings to buy furniture in cash so she can save 7,000 pesos.
Kaya ka nga nag-credit card, para maka-avail ka ng installment. Siyempre, kung ibabalik naman nila sa dati yung presyo, sayang naman yung discount. Ang mahal din ng bilihin ngayon sa totoo lang. Parang wala nga din yung credit card sa totoo lang ngayon eh.
Senator Cheese Escudero says while business is business, consumers who cannot pay in cash should not be burdened or discriminated against. According to global data, some 8.6 million credit cards are in circulation in the Philippines. The Department of Trade and Industry has been reminding consumers to always check the price tag, pay only what's indicated, and file a complaint if necessary. Amor Santos, CNN Philippines.
From consumers to motorists' concerns, the Land Transportation Office says it's seeking ways to speed up slow transactions for licenses and other services. But as it troubleshoots the cause of alleged delays, it turns out its own IT provider is to blame. Here's George Giles to tell us what went wrong.
This is a daily scenario here at the LTO office in Quezon City. You will see long lines of people applying or renewing their driver's license or vehicle registration. New LTO Chief Chofilo Guadis is blaming IT provider Dermalog for this.
Bumabagal po ang proseso, humahaba po ang pila sa mga district offices. So we really have to address and we revisit the IT providers. Dahil nung araw po, it takes only about 2 hours to renew a driver's license. Now it's taking 5 days, 6 days.
Drivers have varying experience in transacting at LTO offices.
Mas maganda kung mapabilis pa. Kasi kaya sila nahirapan gawa ng bagong sistema nila ngayon.
Mabilis lang naman yung renewal kung wala kang huli. Mas mabilis ng dati kasi andun na lahat sa Stratcom yung server nila. Kaya isang na lang okay na ngayon. Medyo bago lahat yung server.
Guadis says he'll be meeting with Dermalog executives next week to ask them to improve their services. Otherwise, they will have to look for another provider who can actually do the work. CNN Philippines is still trying to reach Dermalog for a comment.
Gusto ko lang munang repasuhin yung kontrata and ask them if they can deliver. If they cannot deliver, then we have to take action to probably, if not replace them, we would look into other IT providers who can do the job for them. If the old IT provider, Stratcom, can do it, then by all means they're welcome.
Guadis also wants to streamline the application for driver's license. He wants shorter theoretical and practical courses from driving schools and make such courses affordable as well.
We are looking into a very strict monitoring with the driving schools. Kasi po, isa po sa mga nakita kong problema sa mga driving schools, halos hindi naman po sila tumutupad doon sa 15 hours. May mag-i-enroll ng umaga, pagdating ng tanghali, meron na silang certificate, nagiging diploma mill, nagiging for sale.
Despite the proposed shorter training period, the LTO wants to be stricter regarding the conduct of written and practical examinations. This is to ensure that all those who will get their driver's license are equipped with proper knowledge on road safety. George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
The country already logs over 3,100 highly transmissible Omicron subvariant BA.5 from June 3rd to August 5th, as health officials report 95 new cases today. Most of the new cases are from Davao Region and Soksa-Gen. 83 have recovered. BA5 is the most commonly detected variant in the past 2 months. The health department also logging 7 BA4 and 2 more BA2.12.1 cases. All have recovered. Officials have also identified 3 close contacts of the country's first 2 BA2.75 cases, another highly transmissible Omicron subvariant.
Maliban dito, hindi pa ho natin natitrace yung kanilang history of travels, yung kanila pong mga vaccination status at saka yung mga sources of infection dahil patuloy po tayo nakikipag-ugnayan dito po sa Region 6. What we can tell you, we're already declared recovered.
Overall, COVID-19 case infections are going up, with the agency recording an average of 3,710 daily cases nationwide from July 26 to August 4. Aside from Metro Manila, the Cordillera region is already at moderate risk in the number of daily cases. Calabarzon also near the moderate risk threshold. The healthcare use in the Bangsamoro region already at moderate risk, and Western Visayas and Calabarzon near moderate risk. Despite these, the DOH says the country remains at low risk category.
Nananatili namang less than 1,000 cases ang bilang ng severe at critical admissions nationally, ngunit patuloy tayo nakakakita ng mabagal na pagtaas mula early July. Sa kabuuan, nananatiling asymptomatic at mild ang mga admissions, gayunpaman nananatili pa rin tayong nasa low risk.
The DOH projects a peak in COVID-19 hospitalizations by end of September or early October because of the waning immunity of the population and slow booster uptake. When we come back, a former defense official confirming the scrapping of a chopper deal with Russia. Can the government still retrieve billions of pesos worth of initial payments? And more officials pay their last respects to late former President Fidel Valdez Ramos. Keep it here on Newsnight.
RPN DXKP Pagadian, ang inyong Radyo Ronda. RPN Radio Philippines Network. Radio Philippines Network. Live to the world, pinaagi sa FB page, karon mag-download na. Pinaagi sa Google Play og Apple Store, YouTube og Twitter. Alang sa mas kipakuskan nga mga balita, komentaryo, kasayuran og kalingawan. Ang mas kipakuskan nga inyong Radyo Ronda.
Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Welcome back to Newsnight. President Bongbong Marcos appoints a new chairperson for the Energy Regulatory Commission. Mona Lisa Dimalanta replaces Agnes Devanadera and will lead the ERC until July 2029. Dimalanta was the chairperson of the National Renewable Energy Board from 2019 to 2021. She also served as the chief legal counsel and compliance officer of Aboitiz Power Corporation. The former defense chief says it is now up to the Marcos administration to decide on the next steps after the Philippines terminated a multi-billion peso chopper deal with Russia. Delfin Lorenzana confirming Manila scrapped a 12.7 billion peso agreement to purchase 16 Mi-17 helicopters from Moscow. The country paid an initial amount of 2 billion pesos. Lorenzana says former President Rodrigo Duterte ordered the deal terminated over fears of sanctions from the United States.
It could take some time, maybe negotiations for us to get back the 2 billion pesos. We have not yet initiated anything. It's up to the new administration if they would like to talk or make arrangement with the Russians. If you pursue with the purchase, then we may not be able to pay the payment because of the sanctions. All payments that we do passes through U.S. banking system, so they can easily block the payment.
The U.S. government, under a federal law, can impose sanctions on entities that have significant defense or intelligence transactions with Russia that attacked Ukraine in February. The Duterte administration leaves behind an outstanding debt of nearly 12.80 trillion pesos. The Treasury Bureau says the outstanding loan is at 12.79 trillion pesos as of end June, surpassing the 12.76 trillion record set in April. The latest figure also higher by 14.6% compared to the year before. Former President Duterte assumed the presidency with an outstanding debt of just 5.94 trillion. World updates. China announces sanctions against U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for what it calls her provocative visit to Taiwan. Earlier this week, Pelosi has said she will not allow China to isolate Taiwan from the international community. Chinese warships and jets also conducted military drills near Taiwan, crossing the largely respected border between Beijing and Taipei. Taiwan called the move highly provocative and responded with radio warnings and air patrol forces. The top U.S. diplomat is coming to the Philippines as tensions escalate in the region. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is set to meet with President Marcos and Foreign Affairs Chief Enrique Manalo tomorrow to discuss the way forward for Manila-Washington ties. Tristan Adalo reports.
Fresh from his meeting with foreign ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN in Cambodia, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken heads to the Philippines for an official visit. In an interview with CNN Philippines, Philippine Ambassador to the United States Jose Manuel Romualdez says that reaffirming Philippine-U.S. ties will be front and center of the high-level visit.
This is an opportune time for the United States to renew its relationship, not only with our new president, but also with the new government. I would say substantial in nature, and at the same time, it will be a good opportunity for President Marcos to hear what President Biden has to say.
The envoy adds Washington is also aware that President Bongbong Marcos puts prime importance to the economy.
She would like to really open up our economy to many of our allies and friends and those that would like to do business in the Philippines. He really would like to see our economy to not only to recover from the pandemic, but to even grow much better than it ever did in the past.
Joining Blinken in his visit are some trade officials who would also present their plans for the Philippines and the rest of the Indo-Pacific region.
The Special Trade Representative of the United States, who will be able to give an overview of what the United States plans to do in the Indo-Pacific region, like the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework.
The high-level meetings will also cover possible cooperation on energy, trade and investment, reiteration of shared democratic values, and pandemic recovery. The bilateral trade between the two countries is valued at over $25 billion as of 2020. The US also donated over 33 million COVID-19 vaccines and over 1.9 billion pesos worth of assistance to the country's COVID-19 response. Now it remains to be seen if Blinken will also discuss calls to recalibrate the Mutual Defense Treaty and the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement or EDCA with the backdrop of increasing tensions over Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea dispute. Romualdez adds that Blinken may also reiterate the invitation for Marcos to visit the U.S.
I think President Marcos, who has already accepted the United Nations, for him to speak at the United Nations, will have an opportunity probably to at least have to have an in-person meeting with President Biden, who will also attend the United Nations General Assembly.
Blinken will be the second foreign affairs chief to visit the Philippines and meet with President Marcos after Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in July. Tristan Nodalo, CNN Philippines.
More people, including officials, diplomats, and other familiar faces, pay their last respects to the late former President Fidel V. Ramos. Stanley Cajeta joins us live from the Heritage Park in Taguig. Stanley?
Pia, notwithstanding the rain, many people still came to visit the wake of the late ex-president Fidel Ramos. Some of them were government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, key figures in the business community and the civil society organizations. Notable were Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Deputy Governor Bernadette Romulo Puyat, former senatorial candidate Samira Gutok, former Senator Ramon Magsaysay Jr., and Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry Chairman George Barcelon. Diplomatic corps members from the US, Ireland, Taiwan, South Korea, Czech Republic, and China also attended the wake. Former Executive Secretary Eduardo Ermita, DND Officer in Charge Jose Faustino, former National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon, and Senator Coco Pimentel also came. Former Health Secretary Francisco Duque also arrived. The civic group organization Fraternal Order Eagles Calabarzon Cavite chapter also paid its respects. Ramos recognized the group in 1995 and declared June 15 to 22 as National Eagles Week under Presidential Decree 600. Later in the afternoon, two former members of the National Defense Press Corps, Pulitzer Prize winner Manuel Mogato and ABS-CBN News supervising producer Mariel Gaceta Katbagan, shared their experience with President Ramos.
Alam mo, sa lahat ng presidente na kinover ko, no, mula kay Cory, hanggang kay Duterte, hanggang ngayon, kay BBM, si Ramos yung pinaka-accessible sa press. Bakit? Kasi every week, every Wednesday, meron siyang press con sa Malacanang. Kung nasaan man siya, out of town o out of the country, may press con pa rin. Tapos maliban sa press con, pinagbibigyan pa niya yung mga media, organization, humihingi ng exclusive interview.
He doesn't just hear you, he listens. Nakikipaghuntahan pa rin siya sa mga chairman, taking down notes. Siya mismo, pinakinggan niya yung grassroots. And I think that's one of his strengths, that his decisions are not based on policy at the high level only, but it's also based in the grassroots.
There was a rehearsal for the departure honors and inurnment service on Tuesday. According to Philippine Army spokesperson Cerces Trinidad, around 1,200 personnel from AFP and PNP are expected to be involved in the military honor. Meanwhile, former First Lady Ming Ramos serenaded her late husband by playing their favorite song, You'll Never Know, in the SAF March. Visiting ends at 10 p.m. later, while tomorrow expected to come by are some more veterans, members of the military law enforcement, West Point Society, and the Rotary Club of Manila. Pia.
Stanley Cajeta there reporting from the Heritage Park in Taguig. Join me as we witness the state funeral for former President Fidel V. Ramos. Catch the live coverage in the morning of Tuesday, August 9th, only here on CNN Philippines. Up next, pop star Lady Gaga makes her comeback on the big screen for the sequel of the box office hit Joker. And the long wait is over for K-pop fans as Girls' Generation unveils its new album. Stay tuned to CNN Philippines.
RPN DXKP Pagadian.
Ang inyong Radyo Ronda RPN. RPN. Radio Philippines Network. Radio Philippines Network. Live to the world, pinaagi sa FB page, karon mag-download na. Pinaagi sa Google Play, og Apple Store, YouTube, og Twitter. Alang sa mas kipakuskan ng mga balita, komentaryo, kasayuran, og kalingawan. Ang mas kipakuskan nga inyong Radyo Ronda.
Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
You're watching Newsnight. Back to world headlines. A Russian court sentences WNBA star Brittany Griner to 9 years in jail for drug smuggling. The two-time Olympic gold medalist was arrested in February with less than 1 gram of cannabis oil in her luggage at a Moscow airport. Griner says it was an honest mistake from her rush to pack. The U.S. government denounced the sentence and proposed a possible prisoner swap. Here at home, the Meralco Bolts bounced back from their Game 1 loss in the PBA Philippine Cup, tying the semifinal series at 1 each. Meralco won the second match versus the San Miguel Beermen 99-88 at the Araneta Coliseum in Quezon City. Their best-of-7 series continues on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Coach Norman Black was back there. Another semis clash is ongoing with the Magnolia Hotshots also looking to even the series. And so far, Magnolia is ahead in the second quarter, 32-21. Tropang Giga defeated Hotshots in Game 1 on Wednesday. Moving to entertainment, it must have been hard to keep a poker face about this movie casting. Posting a musical teaser on Instagram, Lady Gaga confirming that she will star in the sequel to Joker alongside Joaquin Phoenix. No word yet on her role, but entertainment outlet Variety reported earlier this year that Gaga was in talks to play Harley Quinn in a musical sequel. In K-pop, a treat for So1's with a much-awaited arrival of Forever One. Girls' Generation dropped its first single and album in 5 years. Forever One is now streaming, but physical copies could go on sale next Monday. Here's a look at the music video for the title track. Something new for BTS ARMYs as well. The group's collaboration with Benny Blanco and Snoop Dogg, Bad Decisions, is finally here. The music video trended both on YouTube and Twitter today. And that is it for now. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pio Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
A simple smile can change your day and others as well. Studies have shown it has the power to boost confidence, improve social experiences, and make you feel happier overall. But it can be discouraging to show off your pearly whites when you're not confident with them to begin with. The good news is we have a number of procedures available today that can help improve the appearance of your smile. It's called aesthetic dentistry or cosmetic dentistry. On the program today, we'll talk about the aesthetic dentistry procedures that can help address these. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez and welcome to MedTalk Health Talk, only on CNN Philippines. Some people with discolored, decaying, or misaligned teeth avoid smiling or even talking. But aesthetic dentistry can help improve the appearance and in turn help build self-confidence. Let's welcome our guests for today. With us is Dr. Cez Acero. She's the head aesthetic dentist at Beyond Dental PH and a professor from the National University College of Dentistry. Also with us is Dr. Maria Janet Mapapandan. She is the president of the Association of Philippine Orthodontists and the chair of the orthodontic section of Asian Hospital and Medical Center. Thank you both for joining us on the program today. Now, early on, we mentioned that aesthetic dentistry improves the appearance of your teeth, your gums, your smile overall. Now, I'll start the conversation with Dr. Cez. Tell us a little bit more about aesthetic dentistry. Is the main goal here trying to improve how the smile looks, or are there health benefits to this as well?
There are a lot of sub-treatments when it comes to aesthetic dentistry to beautify it. That's actually the main goal, but we rarely look into function. And I think the reason why aesthetic dentistry is patok nowadays and very happy actually because patient now has awareness of their smile. So more than aesthetic dentistry being a treatment, it's more of a discipline. It's more of a new concept when it comes to bringing back the new smiles in aesthetic dentistry.
Now, I'd like to ask Dr. Janet, when it comes to cost, especially when it comes to aesthetic dentistry, orthodontics procedure, braces, covered ba ito ng insurance?
Unfortunately, not all health insurance covers orthodontic treatment because unfortunately, they consider orthodontics as an aesthetic procedure, no? Which is actually, it's not concerned with aesthetics only, but also with the function and stability of the case. We should not confine orthodontics in aesthetics only, like straightening the teeth, because well-aligned teeth also contribute to the health of the structures around the teeth.
Now let's talk about that a little bit further. How important is it na ang braces na kukunin ng isang tao ay qualified, specialista ang naglalagay nito?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, braces or orthodontic treatment, it's a long-term treatment. So the treatment should be done and monitored and supervised by a qualified specialist because we're dealing not only with straightening the teeth, but how they should be positioned along the bone and how the bite will be, and then also as it relates to the upper and the lower jaws. Sadly, there's a proliferation of the do-it-yourself orthodontic treatment. So one of our campaigns of Association of Philippine Orthodontists is no to DIY braces. Number one problem is it's very accessible. So madaling i-order ng mga patients online. And then there's even an instruction on how to put the braces.
Let's talk about what can happen kapag do-it-yourself braces ang ginawa or kinabit ng braces ng isang hindi masyadong qualified dito.
They are not aware of the science of the discipline of moving teeth along the bone. Kasi ang ngipin, hindi lang naman yan nandyan lang. Meron siyang fibers, meron siyang buto na nakapalibot. So if the force or the movement that is placed on these teeth through the braces that they place themselves or placed there by an unqualified dentist, then it will worsen their case. Sometimes irreversible yung damage sa teeth. Nasisira yung surrounding structures around the teeth, and some of them may lose their teeth permanently, and they will end up with more expensive dental treatment.
Dr. Cez, when it comes to a patient coming to have any dental work done aesthetic-wise, how often does it happen na ito palang gusto ng isang pasyente, yung pala, they need something else. Kumbaga, another procedure is better for what they came there for.
Sometimes 90% of the time, doctor, they would come having these pictures in their hands and telling me, doctor, I want something like this. I want you to give me an 8-unit zirconia veneer. Then when I check their teeth, it's aligned properly. There are just some yellow stains. So what I do is I give them awareness on minimally invasive treatments such as teeth whitening or surface correction lang. So what I do is, let's establish first your good bite, the correct rotation, the correct alignment of your teeth. I refer them to ortho first before I actually suggest another aesthetic treatment for them in the end.
Now, speaking of procedures, there are a lot that are available here, and we'll go through them, some of the more popular ones, when we return here on MedTalk Health Talk. So keep it here. We'll be right back. Today, we're talking about the different aesthetic dentistry procedures available for a bright smile and a more confident you. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and welcome back to MedTalk Health Talk. Now, before we talk about the many procedures available, I want to discuss how aesthetic dentistry can affect a person's life in terms of being more confident. Dr. Says, let's talk about that. How important is the confidence of a person, and how is that tied in to their smile?
I think more than beauty, more than the side of yung maganda, aligned, and maputi, let's focus on ano nga ba yung healthy smile. Kasi yun yung mas dapat focus ng patient. Tama si Dr. Janet, it should be aligned because it has something to do with the bite. So, you are confident when your teeth are aligned, not only because of your perception, but because it follows the gait, it follows the stance, it follows you being able to smile and bite confidently, talk confidently. So I think yung aspect ng aesthetic dentistry in confidence is more on function. It has something to do with confidence because I can function and I can use my teeth for smiling, for speaking.
Let's talk about some of the procedures that are more common here. And one of the really popular ones is teeth whitening. So let's talk about that, Dr. Cesar. When it comes to teeth whitening, ano ba yung mga factors na nagpapadilaw ng ipin, nagpapaiba yung kulay ng ipin aside from it being white?
Usually, stains come from coffee, tea, wine. Yun yung mga usual culprit natin for food. Then we also have other culprits for habits such as smoking, tobacco, that causes nicotinic stains. Yung kahit gaano mag-toothbrush po sila, ay nakikita pa rin natin yung mga stains. And meron din naman tayong brought about post-treatments such as after ortho or maybe after some plaque attachment, nag-yellowish ang ngipin.
Now, Dr. Janet, let's talk about the actual whitening process para aware ang ating mga viewers, especially what expectations can they achieve from this?
For the whitening or the bleaching of the teeth, we refer them to dentists who do this procedure. But the orthodontic treatment, once it's done and all the teeth are well aligned and you have a really nice smile, it enhances the result of the bleaching. It magnifies the result of the orthodontic treatment once these aesthetic procedures are done.
Now, Janet, let's talk about earlier, we were talking about the bite, how it's important for that. Let's talk about that aspect. A lot of people may not be aware of that. They've been chewing their whole lives. How can one tell if their bite is correct or it needs some orthodontic care?
Actually, the patient will notice it only if he has a problem or difficulty chewing or biting food. If a patient has an underbite, patients, unless they have difficulty chewing or biting, that's when they would be aware na baka may mali sa bite ko. Or when they see the dentist regularly, their general dentist can advise them na something's wrong with your bite. Or even if very young patients, I would advise the parents na as early as yung baby teeth pa lang ang mga pasyente, they should see a dentist kasi a dentist can detect if there is a developing bite problem. And this can be addressed early if the problem is severe enough to be treated, no?
Dr. Says, let's talk about another aesthetic procedure, and that is the establishment of a dental crown. Now, there are several materials. There's ceramic, there's porcelain, there's also zirconia. Are there any differences kung anong klaseng crown ang nilagay sa ipin?
They differ mostly in their strength and physical properties. So if you are to see what material is best to use, it really depends on location. Like si zirconia. Zirconia is known to be very strong. Superior in strength yan compared to an all-porcelain crown. However naman, si all-porcelain crown is superior naman in aesthetics when compared with zirconia. So usually the zirconia crowns are placed at the back teeth. They stain it with yellow or sometimes with blue stain sa bandang ilalim po para magkaroon ng konting translucency kasi walang translucency ang pure or monolithic zirconia. Ang porcelain naman, they say it's the weakest but it's the most aesthetic. So we usually put that on the front teeth. Here at the front teeth, ang kinukuha natin is yung translucency, yung form ng ngipin na kayang-kayang kopyahin yon ng porcelain.
After the break, we'll talk about veneers, some of its pros and cons, and we'll talk about braces that you can't actually see. All of this when Med Talk Health Talk returns. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and this is Med Talk Health Talk. A person's smile is one of the first things we notice about anyone. And with today's pressures on media and social media, at that, a lot of people are going that extra mile in order to enhance that smile. Now, in enhancing that smile, we've been talking about braces, Dr. Janet. Now, when it comes to adults who might need some orthodontic corrections, what are some of the options with regards to having their teeth corrected, but it is not so evident as braces are?
Actually, with younger patients, they prefer letting their braces be seen. No, they like that. It's a status symbol, peer pressure that they're wearing braces. No, but on the other hand, sa adult patients naman, as much as possible, they don't want to be seen having braces. And then we have now the clear aligners. So ito yung clear aligners. This is the latest technology sa orthodontic treatment. And it's made of clear plastic na the patients put it, it's removable. So for me, this orthodontic management or itong mga materials, iisa lang ang goal niyan is to have straighter teeth, healthier and nicer smile, no? But it's the medium, it's the tool that is different. So it depends on the patient which one he or she prefers.
Dr. Says, let's first talk about what a veneer is. How is it attached to the tooth? What are some of the pros and cons of having veneers?
Actually, this is a very good topic to cover, doctor, because a lot of patients now have a misconception about veneers versus crowns. When we say that it's a veneer, we cover only the front surface of the tooth. It's like a laminate. For the veneers, what we usually do, it's either minimal veneers. These are the direct bondeds, where you can only remove about 0.5 millimeter or just shave it off, and then put a composite filling on top of it. Or you could also do an indirect, the ceramic veneers. You just have to shave off a little more so that there is retention, and then that ceramic veneer would be done outside. So the direct veneer can be done in one sitting, and the indirect veneer, you would be asked to come back again because it would be cemented on you, done outside of the mouth.
Are there any permanent aspects of someone who wants to have veneers done to their teeth?
Are we talking about permanent removal of enamel? Definitely there would be, because enamel doesn't regenerate or grow back. So it's really a big decision. I call it more of an investment in a big decision when we actually step into aesthetic treatments for our teeth. But there are also other veneering procedure available, which is the minimally invasive or no prep veneer. But not everyone are candidates for this, most especially if there are minor malalignment that would need more preparations or drillings for the proper form to be achieved. It's just a matter of, are you a candidate for it or not?
Okay, so it's very important that you talk to your aesthetic dentist to see which type is best for you. Now, Dr. Janet, can all of these procedures be interchanged? Can someone have veneers and then after having veneers done, have braces at the same time?
Oh, that's a very good question. Kasi ang dami nagkakamali dyan na patients. No? They would ask me, Doc, magpapa-veneer muna ako ha? And then, or bleaching, and then I'll have braces. It should be the other way around, because with braces, it's a long-term treatment. So if you have braces or brackets placed on your teeth around that time, sayang naman yung na-veneer or nalagyan ng crown or na-bleach na teeth. So I would usually advise my patients that after the orthodontic treatment, then that's the time they can do these aesthetic procedures.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. But before we go, Dr. Cez, do you have any advice for our viewers, especially when it comes to aesthetic dentistry?
My only advice for our viewers is that you always look into what's best for you and always ask your consultant. I would highly suggest that you look and talk to your dentist about the treatment options that are available for you. Don't just settle for one treatment option. Look into other options, just most especially minimally invasive treatments. Kasi once matanggal na po ang ating enamel, mawala na po siya, it does not go back. So really, if you want to step up into aesthetic treatments, it's a decision. I would really recommend that you look into your options as well for your teeth. Check muna yung mga cavities, check muna natin yung health bago tayo mag-proceed to cosmetics.
And Dr. Janet, of course, any advice for our viewers?
Yes, I would like to advise the patients, the public out there, that doing orthodontic treatment or having braces is not only aesthetics. Remember, when we move teeth, nag-i-improve din yung function, and we want to give you that healthy, glowing smile. So make sure that please see only qualified specialists. Orthodontics is just part of your aesthetic treatment. We co-manage our patients with aesthetic dentists like Dr. Cez, and then we also co-manage it with other dental specialists. So it's the goal is to give you that healthy and beautiful smile.
And with that, I'd like to thank Dr. Janet Mapapandan and Dr. Cez Acero for being with us today and giving us better knowledge, especially when it comes to our teeth. We appreciate your time and your insights very much. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez. Thank you for watching MedTalk Health Talk, and we'll see you again next time.